Hey everyone, so of course one of my neighbours decided to start mowing his lawn. The second I decided to film this, but hopefully it won't be as noisy your side of the camera as it is my side, even though he's stopped now for a wee second, so hopefully that's him done for a wee while. But I am doing a demo and first impressions video on this guy here, which is the Beauty Blender, which I'd say 99% of you already either have or you know much more about it than I do, because I have been a Beauty Blender virgin up until now. I bought this when I was in the States recently, and I didn't get to use it because I wanted to do my first kind of use of it on camera as a first impressions, and I'm only getting around to that now. So this is it here. I've done the demo and I talked through most of the points during that demo, but I will say I'm very, very impressed by it. I got this in Sephora for 90 something dollars, so it's not the cheapest thing in the world by any means. I never got it before because it's not available here in Ireland, you know, in person. Of course you could buy it online, but I was never so pushed to buy it online because I've never been that impressed by sponges before. So I am very, very pleasantly surprised and pleasantly impressed by this. So just watch the demo to see kind of my thoughts on it, how it applies, how it works, how I use it and all that kind of jazz. And yeah, I'll talk a little bit about cleaning it because I'm going to clean it now and let you know how it cleans after the demo. Okay, so I'm mostly makeup free. I did start to do my eyes earlier on, but then I stopped myself when I realised I wanted to do this video, but you can probably tell from the really bad under eye circles I have that I don't have much makeup on. So I'm going to start off obviously with clean face. I did pop on a little bit of primer though, just to have something underneath my foundation. And if my roots look kind of grey-y, it's because they kind of are. I washed my hair yesterday, so I needed to use some dry shampoo today, and it doesn't matter how much I try to blend in that bloody dry shampoo, it always stays kind of grey looking on my dark roots. And that's even with using the one for brown hair, and I just got sick of touching my hair because it started making my fingers dirty. But anyhow, back to this guy. This is the Beauty Blender in its wee box, and this is it dry. So tiny wee yolk there, pop it beside the box so you can see the size. And I'm just going to go ahead and wet this now with a bit of warm water to activate it so that we can start applying the foundation with it. So this is it now, a bit damp, a bit moist, horrible word, but I'll just show you there compared to this. So you can see it's grown significantly. I don't think it'll even, no, it won't even get into the wee box. So you can see there it definitely grows a lot. I used a bit of warm water. It's obviously better to use it wet because it means that it'll absorb a lot less of your product, particularly when you're using a very fluid foundation. Dry sponges soak every little last bit of that moisture up, so you want it to be a bit damp, and of course it does help to spread it a little better when it's damp. So I did wet it and then squeeze out most of it, even got a dry towel and tried to dry it a little bit more that way. Now I've seen a few people applying their foundation with their fingers or even with the brush. I don't think it matters. I think the point is just to get it on your face without the use of the sponge first of all, and then go ahead and use the sponge to blend it in. So I'm just going to be using my Quercetin and Oak Anti-Aging Foundation. This is actually one of my favourite foundations at the moment. And just out of habit, I'm going to use a brush to apply it to my face. You might think that's a little bit unnecessary considering, you know, you're using a sponge. I don't know, it's just a habit I have. And I have seen other people like applying it with the brush and doing some of the work with the brush first and then using the sponge to really perfect the look at the end. And I think there's no harm in that either. So I'm not worried about obviously having any streaks or anything like that now. It's just to get it in. Probably need a tiny bit more than that. So now that's enough on, and I'm just going to get the sponge and start bouncing it all over my face. So I'm using the fat end to get this foundation blended in. It feels quite pleasant. I know that might sound a bit daft, but the dampness of the sponge kind of feels kind of nice. Okay, so I've pretty much all the foundation on. I'm not going to go too heavy with it. It's absolutely flawless, the application. There is no mark, no brush stroke, nothing that you see that you feel like you need to blend in more. It's just on there and it looks like your skin. It's really, really lovely. So I'm definitely impressed with that. Now I need to tackle these bad boys because I'm really dark under my eyes again today. So let me just grab a concealer. Just going to use some of my Maybelline Fit Me concealer, which is nearly empty. I might have to go over with something else. My eyes are particularly dark today. I think it's from having a few drinks over the weekend, since it was the Paddy's Day weekend and the long weekend here in Ireland, and my birthday. Not that I went overboard. 3 drinks was like my maximum, and I still had a bit of a hangover after that. So I'm using the pointy end now to blend the concealer on my eyes. And you do seem to have control. Like, I feel like I'm not going too close to the eyeliner. Now it's not pointy enough to get right in here, so I might need to use my finger just for that. Like, if I didn't have makeup on, I could of course go, you know, right in and not having to worry about affecting the makeup. So that's my own fault. So I feel like it's given really lovely coverage, and it's applying without taking away, because I know sometimes when you use a brush or even your fingers, it's almost like you're lifting away some of the product as you're trying to buff it in, and this doesn't seem to be happening so much with that. So you can see there it's vastly improved the brightness of my skin, or of my under eyes. And I'm just going to pop some of that concealer just down the centre of my nose. That was a lot. Didn't mean to put on that much, but no harm. Do you know what's quite interesting to note as well as I'm applying this foundation, because I've been using this foundation quite a lot lately and usually applying it with a brush, I feel like it's almost giving me slightly more matte finish. So that maybe it's working it better in, or working even my foundation, not my foundation, working my moisturiser better into my skin, or, you know, it's maybe taking away any excess moisturiser that was on it and getting that into the sponge or something. But it's definitely giving me slightly more satin matte finish than I've been getting with the foundation, which I do actually kind of prefer. And then just for a little bit of concealer, I'm going to pop a little bit just where I need it, again with my fingers. I also feel like I don't need to be as precise as I would be with a brush. Because I suppose I'm not like spreading it and constantly bouncing, whereas with a brush you're buffing, which means you're spreading it around, whereas here I'm literally just bouncing it into the skin. And then just for the sake of the video as well, I'm just going to apply some cream contour as well. So I'm just going to crudely apply it with my finger. Don't go too heavy, it's just to see how it blends in. Time to go in with this bad boy again. So I'm going to start off by going in the bigger area, if you know what I mean, so that if it does spread a little bit, I don't mind. And then I can almost use the pointy part then when I get to the smaller area, or, you know, where it tapers down towards my cheek. So I mean, you can see there it's blended beautifully, absolutely beautifully, and much quicker than I would do it pretty much with a brush. So it's handy, of course, you can just like flip it around to cleaner area and use that. So I've almost over blended a little bit here, but of course then you can just add a little bit more. And I'll just do down the side of my nose. So that blends absolutely perfectly, and that's the wee demo done. Just going to go ahead and finish my makeup and come back and let you know kind of the last few thoughts I have on the wee beauty blender. Okay, so I have the rest of my makeup thrown on now, and I am extremely impressed. I can't get over how flawless of a finish it gives. It's just like there's absolutely no mark, no indication of makeup being there, apart from the fact, you know, it's on your face, but you know what I mean, you don't get any of those brush strokes. There's no kind of funny marks in my makeup. Everything's just blended absolutely beautifully, or it did under, you know, underneath the powder and stuff like that. So I am highly impressed with how it applies and with the speed with which I was able to blend it. Now in the actual little, where's it gone, the wee leaflet that comes with Beauty Blender, it does say to dip your Beauty Blender into the makeup and then apply it. I still think it would be better for yourself to apply it to your face first, whether it be with your fingers or your brush or whatever, and then apply it with the Beauty Blender, because that way you'll have much less build up on the Beauty Blender, and yeah, that's mainly it. It'll, you know, there'll be less absorption, less build up and all that kind of stuff. And like your own brush, the less product on the brush, the better the blend, and it'll be the same with your beauty blender. So definitely for that. Now I've just given this fella a wee wash. It does say in step, after step 5, which just says to stipple it on, it says to air dry on your BB. So it obviously skipped a step by saying washing it, but I did wash it, and you can just sit it on the wee box then to let it air dry, which is what I'm going to do. Now I used a antibacterial hand wash, which is moisturising or conditioning or whatever, as well as the antibacterial, which I think is very important. It contains tea tree oil, which is a natural antibacterial agent, and that's really, really good for cleaning these kind of things. It really helps with acne and prevent those kind of bacterial problems on the face. So even if you don't have something with an antibacterial agent in it, or even tea tree oil, you can buy tea tree oil in a health food store, and then you could even add a few drops to your soap or whatever you're using that way. That would be a really good way of doing it. It's totally clean. It's lovely and clean and perfect again. Now in regards to how long it lasts, I've heard some people saying it lasts up to 4 months, other people saying they've had to throw theirs away after a month. I'd say it's all down to how you take care of your sponge. Like with brushes, like I was saying, if you keep on top of spot cleaning, you'll never have to worry about a huge deep clean, because you just won't get that massive build-up. I think as long as you're just cleaning this well after every single use, you shouldn't have to worry about there being a massive build-up of product. And also make sure when you are rinsing it out, to make sure you're rinsing out every last bit of soap, because soap build-up actually causes hardness, and that'll ruin the sponge or the beauty blender on you as well. So I think as long as you're taking care of that, you'll have no issues. So that's my demo and first impressions on the beauty blender. I love it. I think it's a great little product. Is it worth $19.99? I think it probably is, as long as you take very good care of it and you make sure that it lasts as long as it possibly can last. And I would happily get more of those for my kit, and as well as for myself. I think they'd be really great to use in a makeup job. Obviously just make sure you are washing them immaculately clean between jobs, using your antibacterial, even using alcohol if you need to, so that you can use them on other clients. But I think it's a great little product. So any other information I'll leave on my blog as usual, and thanks a million for watching. I hope this was helpful, guys. Slán!